Good afternoon, everyone. I am Carla Luna from the Customer Management and Services team of AboitizLand. And this afternoon, we've prepared a presentation to help guide you, our Vecinos, an easy guide to buying and having loans processed in collaboration with, of course, UnionBank and Pag-IBIG. So this afternoon, we will be presenting a buyer's guide, which is actually a step-by-step procedure that leads our vecinos into a seamless home buying journey with AboitizLand. Okay, so our first step is actually our accredited sales agents will get in touch with our vecinos, and once they have finalized the unit they would like to purchase, we will begin our journey. So day one, they need to provide us the submission of the reservation requirements and a valid government ID as well as the reservation fee. So this is just the initial requirements that we will need for day one. So they need to be able to accomplish the reservation agreement form, pay the reservation fee. So it varies from projects to projects. Our mid projects, our reservation fee amounts to starting at 20,000 pesos, and our mid high begins at 50,000 pesos for the reservation fee. We also require for them to submit a valid government ID. That includes a passport, a driver's license, UMID ID, PRC, and ARC certificates. So the principal buyer and the co-owners or the spouses also needs to provide the valid government ID. So once it's done, we will be able to reserve the unit. We will provide our vecinos the investment estimate sheet and the purchase order that they would also need to send back to us with their signature. So the investment estimate sheet actually contains the monthly amortization that they need to settle. It also includes the unit number, the lot area, the floor area of the actual unit that they are purchasing. And after that, day 2 to day 25, they would need to be able to submit to us the other requirements. So what are the other requirements? No, we call it Set B. So that includes the verified TIN number or the TIN number. And then, of course, they need to provide us the proof of billing. Proof of billing, it can be their Meralco bill, their mobile bill, which actually contains their current address or the address wherein they prefer that we can send our notices and their contracts to sell. And then, of course, they need to send us the signed purchase order in the investment estimate sheet. Now, for corporations, they need to send us the SEC, the bylaws, and the articles of incorporations, among others. So that's day 2 to 25. And then, of course, they need to be able to send us the auto debit arrangement of their preferred bank for the monthly amortizations or for the equity. And at the same time, if they don't want to do it or they don't want to enroll in an auto debit facility, they can also provide us their post-dated checks. So it's also dependent on the number of pay terms. So we have 20 and 24 months. We also have 10% down payment in 18 months. So it depends on the payment term that our vecino has chosen. So the number of PDCs would be dependent on that. And then after that, of course, on day 30, we will already collect the first monthly amortization for the account, and then, of course, succeeding. So the duration amount for international sales will be the same. Day one, they still need to provide us the reservation agreement, the valid government ID, and the reservation fee. But for in the international sales, our marketing partners and our vecinos abroad who purchase from us can actually provide us the rest of the requirements up to the 45th day. We also understand, the challenge that they are actually abroad, and sending the documents, having it consugarized, it might take time. So we're giving our international clients a little more of leeway for them. But of course, day 30, it's still going to be the first day of their monthly amortization. Again, this is reflected in the investment estimate sheet that we will be providing them. Okay, so the next step is actually our construction management team will do the house construction. So within the equity period, within the pay term, it depends again whether it's 18 months or whether it's 24 months, we will begin the house construction at the approved percentage of payment. So it varies. It's dependent on each unit. So after the house construction, once the house completion reaches 80%, we will start actually sending them um, the notice that their house is actually at 80%, and we will begin the loan process either through Union Bank or through Pag-IBIG loan. So our customer team was actually guiding our vecinos in this journey. And we actually have our vecino portal, which they can access. We've sent out notifications in their registered email addresses. All they need to do is open the link and then register, sign in, so they can actually view the actual construction of their house and other information that's related to their purchase journey. Okay. Next, after the house completion, is the loan takeout. So this means the full payment of the equity, meaning we've settled already 20%, and then payment of the remaining balance. It also depends. Some of the clients um, are, are are paying through spot cash, for example. Others have 80% remaining balance. Others have 90% remaining balance. So whichever comes first, until uh, the full payment is done already, we can already start the loan takeout process. I'll quickly deep dive the loan takeout process after this slide. Okay, next. And then of course, after everything is settled, once the payment is recorded already, we do the house turnover. So meaning to say the house is already accepted and turned over upon full payment. So basically, this is the loan takeout process. So first, you will receive a reminder letter from our customer care team. So again, as I mentioned earlier, this happens at the 80% completion of the house. So now we will begin the process of the loan application through Pag-IBIG or through Union Bank or through any of your preferred banks. Next is actually we invite the vecinos for the house acceptance. So this is actually at 100% completion of the house construction already. So at this point, we've already secured the LOG or the letter of guarantee from the bank, and then NOA from Pag-IBIG. And then we've already provided the confirmation schedule of their house acceptance. After that, we will facilitate the full house acceptance. So at this stage, the vecino actually visits the units on site, and then the vecino will actually sign the certificate of acceptance. And then after that, during the takeout stage, we verify the crediting of the loan proceeds, and then we prepare the house turnover documents. This is done by our property management together with our customer service team. So at this stage, we confirm the release of the loan proceeds from the bank or Pag-IBIG, and then after which we already scheduled the house turnover. So the scheduling of the house turnover, we will also provide notice to our vecinos on when their schedule would be. And then of course, during the turnover, we provide them the house keys already, and then they sign the turnover documents. Okay. So if you have questions, we do have our FAQs later on after all the presentations are done. So we will be glad to answer your questions later. And then, of course, now that we have gone over the buying and the loan process, I would like to introduce to you Ms. Sol Encarguez, the team head of the Consumer Finance Mortgage for this Mint for Union Bank, to walk us through their bank loan process. Ms. Sol, good afternoon. You may proceed with your presentation.
Good afternoon, Miss Carla. And thank you, AboitizLand, for this invite. Mayong hapon. My name is Sol Encarguez, and I am from Union Bank Consumer Finance Department, Mortgage, and we handle the processing of housing loans, or what we call home loans. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Home loans, by definition, is a term loan with fixed monthly amortization covering both interest and principal at an agreed interest rate and rate pricing, payable within an agreed period of time, or what we call the term of the loan. It is a loan facility secured by the first mortgage of the property being bought by the borrower. So this facility this facility is designed to finance acquisition of the following residential properties. Um, we accept condominium units, residential condo with parking slots, house and lot, vacant lots, and townhouses, all for owners' occupancy. In Union Bank, we boast of a digitized mortgage loan platform, which gives us the following benefits. We do fast conditional approval. We provide real-time status updates on your applications, and we do online application process. So there are only three keywords to remember here. We do it fast, we are convenient, and we are flexible. Next slide, please. So once again, we are convenient, we are fast, and we are flexible. So by convenience, we mean that we do online processing, meaning we do the processing. You can apply. Our clients need not go to the bank anymore to apply. You can do it at the convenience at your own home and offices, anytime, anywhere. And for us, doing the processing of the loan, since we are also doing it at home, we do processing at home. Real-time application, we provide you with real-time application updates via automated SMS and email notification on the status of your loan application, be it conditional approval or final. So like I said earlier, we do it fast. So we provide conditional approval within minutes upon submission of the initial documentary requirements. We only need three documentary requirements. You need your personal documents, of course, your income documents, and then your collateral documents. But with AboitizLand, since they are already our accredited partner developer, not to mention our sister company, so we don't need anymore their collateral documents. We can source it directly from them. So you just need to give us your personal documents, your application form, which you can do it online. Please, please make sure to indicate your contact number. If you have more than one mobile number, please indicate it there, your email address, your valid government issued IDs for both spouses. And if you're married, we would need a copy of your marriage contract. Next is your income documents. Of course, if you're employed, you will need a copy of your certificate of employment indicating your annual or monthly compensation, your position, the tenure, and the contact numbers of your employer. If you're engaged in business, you're self-employed, you will need a copy of your business registration documents, DTI, SEC, a copy of your audited financial statements, ITR, bank statements for the last 6 months. If it's registered as a corporation, we will need a copy of your articles of incorporation and general information sheet. That's it. So flexible. We can give you, our maximum loanable amount is 90% of the total contract price. Or your outstanding balance with the AboitizLand, whichever is lower. The maximum term is 20 years and the minimum term is 1 year. Maximum age limit is 70 years old, meaning you don't you you cannot be more than 70 years old upon loan maturity, but at least should be at least 21 years old upon application of the loan. And our interest rates are based on prevailing market rates. So as of today, our interest rates are for 1 year it's 6.25, for 2 years 7, and 5 years 7.5. So as I said earlier, we are into convenience and fast, so you need not come to the bank anymore to apply. You can do it online. You can visit our website at www.unionbankph.com and look for the home loan window. It's very user friendly. You can see the forms there. We have a loan calculator wherein you can input your preferred term, rate, and amount, and it will compute the monthly amortization so that you can see for yourself if it's affordable or not, and you can adjust the term or the rate or the amount. That's the home loan ARP calculator. It's very user friendly. So this is how we compute for your amortization. For example, if you have a 3 million loan for a 20-year term for a rate of 725 fixed for 5 years, your amortization is 21,340, and your required monthly income is 56,135. So as of the moment, since we are most of us are in quarantine or because of this pandemic, we all of us are working from home. So we came up, our legal department came up with a process for us to accommodate our clients who can sign through video conferencing, doing the signing at home. But we do this on a case-to-case basis and only for clients who are based or locally based in the Philippines. So for those who are uh, based abroad, we still do it via the SPA, the consularized SPA. Next slide, please. So this is our address. We are at the second floor of Union Bank, General Maximum Avenue, Ongtiak Building, General Maximum Avenue. The account officer handling AboitizLand is Rhea Donairi. That's her contact number there. And then I am Shoaling Cargas. I handle the Visayas and Mindanao market of Union Bank Housing. For Luzon properties, we have another team handling it there. They are based at our head office at the Union Bank Plaza, Ortigas Center, Pasig City. Their account officers are Golda Lynn and Catherine, and our team head is Neil Aquino. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Ms. Sol, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For sharing how UBP makes home buying very convenient for our vecinos. Our key takeaway is that it's convenient, it's
Yes,
fast, and
it's
it's
fast and it's
flexible.
flexible. Yes,
Yes.
it was our pleasure.
So thank you so much, Miss Sol. Now, our projects, our AboitizLand projects are also available through Pag-IBIG. And to take us through the process, I would like to welcome Miss Marion Gurley de los Reyes, Housing Relationship Officer of Pag-IBIG. Miss Marion, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Carla, and the rest of the Aboitiz team. Thank you very much for inviting me. In behalf of Pag-IBIG, we would like to thank you for this opportunity to share to our buyers what are the programs and benefits being a Pag-IBIG member, especially in the availment of the housing loan. Okay, so to start with, of course, before we go to the housing aspect of the program, we would like our buyers to appreciate what Pag-IBIG is all about. No, I would like to share our accomplishment for the last year, 2019, which is our best year ever. So far we have more or less 14.69 million active members. And right now, Pag-IBIG has a total assets of 603.39 billion. Our membership savings that we're able to collect last year is around 50.38 billion. And nationwide, we have 137 branches and with 20 posts worldwide. So our income for the last year is around 34.37 billion, and we have shared or granted to our members last year dividends of total amount of 31.07 billion. So I'm happy to inform everyone, especially our buyers or Pag-IBIG members, that our dividend rate for 2019 for regular savings is 6.73%. And for those who have modified Pag-IBIG 2 membership, which is an optional membership, the dividend rates that we were able to come up is 7.23%. Next slide, please. So for the first semester this year, from January to June 2020, this is our accomplishments. So we were able to release housing for the housing loan availment a total of 20.81 billion. These are for housing loan borrowers of 20,631. And of course, if Pag-IBIG is not just housing, we also offer provident programs like the short-term loans, which were able to release 16.61 billion last year to our 876 414 members. So right now, for the first semester of this year, despite the pandemic, we have a total assets of 632.59 billion and a gross income of 22.82 billion. Of course, this is lower collection from last year's, but we're hoping to um, collect more with the remaining year, 2020. And of course, we have the net income of 14.14 billion. Next slide, please. Okay, here are the latest updates in Pag-IBIG Fund. So for our members, we recently launched the virtual Pag-IBIG. This is an answer to the clamor of our members for those who want to access their contribution online. So with the virtual Pag-IBIG, you will be able to enroll and then apply for loans online, view your records, view your remittances, and you can also pay online. As to our Pag-IBIG housing loan program, effective July and up to December this year, we're offering a promo rate as far as the interest rate is concerned. So as you can see on the screen, the two recommended rates, which is under the 1 year fixing period and the 3 year fixing period. So for the 1 year fixing period, from 5.375% per annum, we'll lower it down to 4.985%. And for the 3 years fixing period, from 6.375% per annum, lower down to 5.375%. So this is a promo rate from July until December of this year. So being Pag-IBIG members, it's not just the housing benefits that you get. We have other programs also, the Provident program. So here are the list. You have your savings, the regular savings, and we have the Pag-IBIG Fund 2, which is an optional membership or optional savings scheme. We also have the short-term loans where you can avail 80% of your total savings. And of course, we have the Pag-IBIG housing loan. Then we have the recently launched virtual Pag-IBIG, and of course, the loyalty card. So these are the benefits and programs that we offer to all our Pag-IBIG members. Okay, so now we go to the most important feature or program, which is the housing loan. Right, please? Okay, so we have two kinds of program under the housing loan availment. We have the affordable housing loan programs and the regular housing loan program. So I'm sure your clients is under the regular housing loan, but for the purpose of discussion, I'll just also present this affordable housing loan program. So this actually members who are minimum wage earners, they can borrow up to 750. So I would like to clarify the distinction between the two programs. Our members or clients that can avail under this affordable housing are those earning 15,000 and below. So we have clearly defined the distinction between the regular because we will make it more affordable for those minimum wage earners. So 30 years to pay is the maximum loan term, and our members can the 15,000 gross monthly income is the rate for Manila, Metro Manila. But if you are in the region, usually it's 14,000 and below. Once the member avail of the affordable housing loan program, which has the lowest interest rate in the market, this is 3% per annum. So as you can see, for those availing up to 580,000, these members who have gross monthly income of 12,000 and below uh, will have an amortization for the 30 years loan term of 2,445.30. So for those members who are higher than 12,000 but will not exceed 14,000, of course, this is for the region, can avail up to 750,000 home loan with amortization rate of 4,740.51 per month. So the 580 affordable home loan amount is fixed for 5 years, while the 750 580 up to 750 has an interest rate of 6.5 fixed for 10 years. Next slide, please. So this is the regular housing loan. I'm sure most of your buyers will fall under this category. So our maximum loan amount for home loans is up to 6 million with low interest rates, of course, in the later slides. Still, 30-year loan, maximum loan term, and with a multiple housing loan guideline. What does it mean? This means that in April 2015, we have approved the multiple housing guidelines, wherein when a buyer or a member of Pag-IBIG avail of the housing loan, for example, a purchase from AMOA, it's a and then he wants or the member wants to avail of another housing loan, like for example to for home improvement. The member doesn't have to fully pay his or her existing loan. As long as he has the capacity to pay, the member can avail of another loan. And this also applies to those who want to buy property adjacent to each other. For example, if it's a townhouse and you want to buy two properties, so you can apply as long as it's adjacent, so or adjoining. You can apply. You can apply for the loan for these two units that you're about to purchase. You can save with the processing. Next slide, please. So here is, as I've discussed, as I've mentioned earlier for the update, we offered a promo rates from July to December 2020. So we have lowered our interest rates for the first year fixing period and the 3-year fixing period. This is our recommended rates. So next slide, please. Okay, so these are actually the interest rate being offered by Pag-IBIG. But as I mentioned earlier, we are recommending the 1-year one-year fixing period and the 3-year fixing period because in the event that there are changes in the interest rate, you only have to wait a shorter period of time to avail of that lowered interest rate. So forget the 5-year fixing and the 30-year fixing. Anytime there's a change in interest rate, they can readily or can just wait a short period of time to avail of the current interest rate. Next slide, please. So this is just also a comparison with the interest rate. This is one of our emphasis that availing of home loan with Pag-IBIG is more advantageous and it's very affordable to our members. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have a different purposes in availing of the loan. It's not just limited to a house and lot. If a member can avail of a residential lot only or adjoining residential lots, we can finance up to 1,000 square meters. Of course, purchase of residential house and lot, townhouse, condominium units, old or brand new, or even property mortgage with Pag-IBIG Fund, adjoining houses or units, inclusive also of a parking slot. So you can include with the home loan the purchase of the parking slot, but we do not allow only the parking slot only. You have to purchase a unit from the property. Okay. Then of course you can avail for the house construction. You can also avail for another loan for home improvement and even refinancing of an existing housing loan from banks or any other financial institution or combination of any of these purposes. Okay, our next is the eligibility. Okay, who can apply for the Pag-IBIG housing loan members? Of course, the member should be an active member of Pag-IBIG Fund. active means you have at least 1 year 1 month, I'm sorry, 1 month contribution for the last 6 months. Our minimum requirement is you have to be a member uh, for 2 years or more than, so at least 24 months saving. But for those for those buyers who are not yet members of Pag-IBIG, as I said earlier, as long as they have a regular income and then they're ready to purchase the house and they have already have their documents, you can pay in lump sum the total 24 months contribution, and then right after you can apply for the home loan. Okay, so another eligibility is the member should not be more than 65 years old, because beyond 65 is not insurable anymore. Okay, at the date of the loan application. And our maturity age, loan maturity age is 70 years old. So for those ages 18 to 40 can avail of the 30-year maximum loan term. So for example, your member is 45 years old. So how what is the maximum loan term that he or she can avail? So since it's 70 years old, so 70 minus 45, it's 25 years. The member can maximize this loan term up to 65 years. Okay. For example, the member is 60 years old, then of course, 10 years is the maximum loan term he can avail. Of course, legal capacity, the buyer should have a legal capacity to acquire and encumber real property. And no pag-ibig housing loan foreclosed, cancelled, bought back, or voluntary surrender. So this means that though this refers to members who are blacklisted, but then again, we tend to consider, especially if the reason is valid, like for example, unemployment, or um, um, there's health problems or health issues. So and then the member is now gainfully employed and can actually afford to pay for the amortization. And if you have an existing Pag-IBIG housing loan, or of course the multipurpose loan, we just require that your payments are updated. You don't need to fully pay your loan balance. So these are the eligibility, which I think just for formality. I'm sure all of our members are qualified to avail through Pag-IBIG Fund. Next slide, please. Okay, so how much the member can borrow? So as I've said, it's the 6 million up to 6 million. But it also has factors that could affect the approval of the housing loan amount applied. So we refer, these are the three things to consider. First, the first one is the actual need. Of course, this refers to the selling price, the purchase of the, if in case in purchase of house and lot or residential unit. For those who will be availing of the housing loan for refinancing, of course, the outstanding loan balance for the house construction and home improvement is the total construction cost. So it's easy to identify the actual need of the buyer. The second, of course, is capacity to pay. So we only allow 35% of the gross monthly income of the borrower as a monthly amortization. So the question now is, if the member don't have the capacity to pay for the loan amount he or she applied, so the member can get a co-borrower maximum of two also eligible Pag-IBIG members. So there's really no issue on the capacity to pay, because of course because of the co-borrowership guidelines. So up to maximum of two co-borrowers, also Pag-IBIG members. Then the last but not the least, factors that can affect or basis for the approval of the loan amount applied is the appraisal of the property. So for those who are applying up to the economic housing limit of 1.7, we approve 95% of the total from the appraisal. And for those will be applying over the economic housing limit, which is over 1.7 to 6 million, we approve 90% based on the appraisal rate of the property. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are just representation. For example, if the member would like to avail of the 6 million, the required monthly gross income for the buyer is 95,000 995.07, and the estimated monthly amortization for a 30-year loan term is around 33,598.27. So of course, this is for a 30-year loan term. And in the monthly amortization, it's not included yet the insurance. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is one of the advantage of availing of housing loan of Pag-IBIG. The borrower is covered with the insurance, which is already infused in the monthly amortization. So we have two kinds of insurance: the mortgage redemption insurance, which covers the member and the co-borrower, if there are any. So these are the feature or the feature of the insurance covering the member borrower. So um, the premium rate is our provider now has lowered their premium rates from 41 cents per 1,000 to 0.225 per 1,000. Also, it covers the burial benefit of the member in case of death. So the insurance offers 26,000 and plus additional 4,000 for the wake expense assistance. Then in the event of death or total disability of the member borrower, it is full payment of the loan. And if, for example, the member is uh, acquired a terminal illness, automatic there will be an 18 months amortization support. For these 18 months, the borrower won't have to pay the amortization because we all know all the money goes to the medical bills and the medicines. So automatic the insurance covers the 18 months uh, support for the amortization. And of course, the claims processing in the event of the total disability or death, the processing will be within 24 hours. Next slide, please. Another feature of our insurance is the fire and allied perils insurance, which secures the property that the member or member borrower owned. So it has the following feature. Of course, the premium rates, which is around 0.1686% per annum, and it automatically covers the borrower in the event of, for example, the property is uninhabitable due to calamity or the member cannot live there for a while. So automatic it covers the member. It will provide the members rental assistance up to 15,000 per month. Uh, until the house is fully restored, and yeah, he can go back, or the member can go back to his property. Then, of course, this that's also cover the member. There's also a feature of family personal accident aggregate limit of 500,000, and of course, sabotage and terrorism cover, which is applicable only for those areas. For example, in Mindanao, we have also provided a feature for them. Of course, and then of course the burial benefit of another 5,000 in case something happened to property, and of course, for example, in the event of fire, and then unfortunately uh, the buyer also died, so we have an additional 5,000 burial benefit. So these are the insurances already covered or already infused with the members amortization. So you don't have to get an external insurance. It's automatic when you avail through Pag-IBIG Fund. Next slide, please. Okay, so how do you pay your loan? You can choose over the counter with our partners Bayad centers. You can issue a post-dated check, and if your company is accredited with us or will enter into a collection servicing agreement, you can have it through salary deduction, and of course auto debit arrangement with bank. So we have many options on how to pay your amortization. Next slide, please. So these are just examples of our partner Bayad centers with banks, and of course, with Saver, you can pay through GCash, Metrobank, SM Store. So you don't need to worry. You can still go to to our Pag-IBIG branch, but we're trying to declog the 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 number of clients visiting the office. So that's why we have Bayad centers. slide, please. Okay, so what are the loan limitations and what are not acceptable with Pag-IBIG? So first and foremost, we do not accept purchase of property with no titles or only have rights. So it has to be a titled and preferably a clean title. And it should not have, it should be a clean title, meaning there's no problem or liens and encumbrances or free patent not covered or any restrictions, especially disputes from court. So uh, we preferably require properties with clean title. We can finance for lot areas, uh, 28 square meter, the minimum. So anything less than that is not allowed with pag. For the condominium floor, it should not be less than 18 square meter per area for the condominium. And it should have the property that you have to purchase should have the four basic amenities. It should have a road right of way of not less than 1.5 meters. It should be accessible to water and electricity, and of course, it has a proper drainage. And we do not accept property classified other than residential. So it should be residential. We do not accept commercial or agricultural. It should be residential. Um, Next slide, please. Okay, here are the easy steps in availing of the housing loan. So normally you get the checklist of requirements, and then once you are ready with your documents, you submit it. You submit your housing loan application. And then after that, once we receive the application form, our standard processing time is 2 weeks. Uh, 2 weeks, we can issue the notice of approval. What will happen with the 2 weeks? We inspect the property according to the specifications. And of course, we also conduct a credit background with the buyers and evaluate the capacity to pay. I would like to note or emphasize that we do not check credit card backgrounds or savings with bank or how many property you own. We usually conduct CIBI if you are under company through your HR, and if you are self-employed of a business, we usually visit the your business and inspect. Then after that, if all is well, all is good, there's no problem with the property and there's no problem with the documentation, we can issue the notice of approval. So we give the notice of approval to the buyers and the letter of guarantee to the seller. Then after that, along with the notice of approval are the conditions. Usually, it's the transfer of the title to the borrower. But this is under the retail scheme of taking out the loan. It's different with availing with AboitizLand because AboitizLand is our accredited developer, and we have a special arrangement for those accredited with Pag-IBIG Fund. So in this case, if if the um, buyers of AboitizLand, instead of requiring a transfer of the title, will just require an annotation of the contract to sell uh, to the deed of assignment with CTS and SPN buyer's conformity. So it doesn't translate into transferring the title in order to speed up the processing or the compliance of the condition of the notice of approval. So we will give the seller or the developer 90 days to comply, or if the developer can comply earlier, then we will release the loan proceeds within 3 to 5 working days or within a week from the compliance. And then after that, once we have paid the seller or the developer, the following month, the member can start paying his or her amortization, monthly housing loan amortization. So that's the steps in availing of the housing loan with the PBIG Fund. Next slide, please. So these are the loan requirements. We have actually a total of 7 documents. The first 3 ones are should be accomplished or complied by the members. So you accomplish a housing loan application, which is downloadable uh, in our website. Um, then you submit the proof of income or the payslip. If it's a private company, payslip. If it's a government employed under government agency, it should be payslip plus the certificate of employment and compensation. Uh, then, of course, one valid ID from the borrowing member if is and spouse if married, and of course, the developer or the seller. Then the rest of the requirements will be complied by the developer or the seller, which is the transfer certificate title, of course, tax declaration and tax receipt, and the vicinity map. And of course, by loan, for the seventh document will be, it depends on what's the loan purpose. So next slide, please. So if you're availing of the purchase of residential unit, it is usually the contract to sell. Okay, under AboitizLand, we have a pro forma for the contract to sell between the buyer and the developer. Of course, for the house construction, the seventh requirement would be the building plans specification with bill of materials duly signed by a licensed civil engineer or architect. Then for the refinancing, we will require uh, the latest statement of account or outstanding loan balance signed by the manager or account officer of the banks or from other financial institution, the official receipt for the past 6 months, and of course the subsidiary ledger. So these are the requirements for our Pag-IBIG Fund borrowers for the loan, housing loan available. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just for the, as I mentioned through the process, the 90-day process of the compliance of the notice approval. These are the agencies that you need to go to before you can comply with all the requirements. So you have the BIR, these are our partner agencies. BIR, we have the tax assessor's office, the registry of deed, and of course the tax assessor. This is the agencies concerned when it comes to the 90 days compliance for the notice of approval. You have to pay taxes, then you go to BIR also to pay taxes, and then they issue a car which you will need for the transfer of the title uh, through the registry of deeds, and then you will submit it Pag-IBIG, and then after that we will release the loan proceeds. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm also would like to encourage also our buyers, of course, that we have acquired assets also available with Pag-IBIG. These are what we call foreclosed properties already acquired by Pag-IBIG, just available to you under a discounted rate. So for more details, you can contact us. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so Pag-IBIG also is we also have programs for the home and needs matching. So we partner with developers like AboitizLand. We look for markets. So this is one of the benefits of the mutual partnership between developer and Pag-IBIG. We usually also home match or needs match our buyers to our accredited developers. Next slide, please. So these are the payment channels. Of course, these are partners Bayad Center. So we have actually payment partners of more or less more than 9,000 nationwide. So it's easy to pay your amortization housing loan. So soon, this is good news for, I think, AboitizLand. It will be available, the virtual Pag-IBIG for developers soon. So it will fast track all the housing applications, and hopefully it can speed up all the processing and the filing through the developer's account. So watch out for that. Next slide, please. We will also have virtual Pag-IBIG for employers, of course, because we have partner employers also who are accredited with us. So this is one of the programs to look forward to. So again, this is our mantra. We are your Pag-IBIG Fund, tapat na serbisyo mula sa puso. Yan po ang lingkod. That ends my presentation, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share the different programs and benefits and programs of Pag-IBIG.
Miss Marion, thank you so much for sharing how easy it is to apply for a Pag-IBIG loan so they can finance our AboitizLand homes. I certainly learned a lot, especially it's highly it's really nice to have the virtual pag-ibig where our pag-ibig members can actually apply online. At the same time, our AboitizLand Vecinos can apply online. And just remember the 6 easy steps that Miss Marion mentioned earlier. 6 easy steps: get, submit, receive, accomplish, receive the loan, and then start the payment for your monthly amortizations. Thank you so much, Miss Marion. I'm sure our vecinos learned so much that this from your presentation this afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we proceed with our Q&A portion, I would like to also announce that our sales team will be launching our Vecino referral program. Um, This program allows our valued vecinos to actually earn by referring our projects. So you can stay tuned to our announcement through our official website at AboitizLand.com. So we are almost done with our episode, but before that, um, we can proceed already showing our FAQs, and then we also have received online questions. So we can proceed if we can show the FAQs. So first, when can a vecino get a loan? So we've mentioned it earlier in our buyer's guide. So ideally at 80% POC, a vecino should have a loan application already. But it does not limit him or her to apply early during the equity stage. However, if the loan approval expires and the house is not yet ready, the bank needs to revalidate the loan and the vecino need to submit recent income documents. But our vecinos need not to worry because our customer care team is on top of this. So at 80%, you're sure and you're guaranteed that we will be able to send out the notice letter informing you that your house is already at 80% construction and that we will begin the loan process. And as I mentioned earlier as well, you may look and log in or actually register in your Vecino portal so you can actually see the house construction update of your purchased unit. Next question. How do a vecino apply for a home loan? So for bank loan home application, there are two main ways that a vecino can actually apply. So the first one is directly to a bank at a branch or online for some banks who have it. But we have UnionBank um, that can help you actually. So Miss Sol actually showed us earlier. This showed her presentation during her presentation. The contact person and representatives from Union Bank that you can actually coordinate with. And then secondly, as another option, we provide AboitizLand with a consent to endorse your account to a loans officer in our accredited banks. Okay. Next question. Yes, another option would be through Pag-IBIG home loan application. Ms. Marin also showed it to her presentation on how we can apply. We can apply through the virtual Pag-IBIG, and all we need to do is submit the requirements through AboitizLand or through Pag-IBIG, and we can facilitate the processing of your loan. What are the banks that are accredited with AboitizLand? So, of course, Pag-IBIG, we are accredited with Pag-IBIG, and of course, Union Bank. And the other banks that are accredited are also shown on your screen. What other projects are accredited with Pag-IBIG? So, Ahoya Cabanatuan, our Ahoya Mactan project, our Almia, and the Persimmon Studios in Cebu. And soon we are going to offer our Pag-IBIG loans for Ahoya Pampanga and Ahoya Capas. Next, what are the banks that offer loans up to 90% of the TCP? Of course, Union Bank. What's actually nice with Union Bank is during the reservation stage, we already do a pre-qualification if you're getting the payment term 1090. So meaning to say, you're paying 10% of the equity and then the 90% is through the Union Bank loan. Okay, next question is, how long does a vecino repay his loan? So this is actually depending on which bank, but the term is usually 5 to 20 years, and the age of the borrower at the end of the term should not be more than 65 to 7 years old. But in the case of Pag-IBIG, as mentioned earlier by Miss Marion, it's up to 30 years for the term. Okay. Next question, what are the basic requirements to apply for a loan? So you must be at least 21 years old, but not exceeding 65 to 70 years old, and depending on which bank, of course. And you are a Filipino citizen. You have a minimum gross income of at least 50,000 per month, solo or combined income for spouses. But Ms. Maureen mentioned earlier, no, they also have those that are not belonging to the regular loans. So it has a different monthly gross income needed. And then, of course, you have a stable source of income from employment or from your business. Locally employed at least 2 years with your current company. If you are self-employed, at least 2 years consecutive profitable years of business operation. And then if you are employed abroad or an OFW, 2 to 3 years consecutive employment, and an SPA if not in the Philippines at the time of application. So, what are the basic documents required? Okay, so of course you need to fill up and sign the bank loan application form or the Pag-IBIG loan application form. And of course you can do it virtually, digitally. No, Union Bank has that portal, and the same with Pag-IBIG, that Pag-IBIG virtual Pag-IBIG portal. And you also need to provide a photocopy of one valid government ID, a passport, your driver's license, an SSS card or UMIT card, PRC or OWA ID, OFW ID, and then Seaman's book for our seafarers, vecinos. And then, of course, marriage contract if applicable. Just please remember these are like basic requirements. No, additional requirements may be required from the bank, from Union Bank, and from Pag-IBIG as well. Okay. Next slide, please. So for locally employed, latest income tax return or BIR form 2316 is also required. Latest 3 months payslip, certificate of employment with income or COE. If you are self-employed, a photocopy of your audited financial statements for the last 2 years with latest ITR, bank statements or photocopy of your passbook for the last 6 months, certificate of business registration from DTI or SEC, to include the articles of partnership or articles of incorporation, whichever is applicable. And then, of course, business background or your company profile. So for those who are employed abroad for OFWs, any of the following: proof of remittance for the last 3 months, latest crew contract if sea-based, and then, of course, consularized certificate of employment with income, COE, or latest 3 months payslip from your company. Okay, next question. Does getting a loan involve fees? Yes. If you are applying for a loan in a bank, you need to pay bank fees, which is around 3% of the loanable amount. The same with Pag-IBIG, fees are collected to process your loan application, which is also around 3% of the loanable amount intended for ROD annotation, REM fees, DST processing fees, etc. Correct po, Ms. Sol and Ms.
Yes.
Marion? 3%.
With Miss Carla, the processing fee for Pag-IBIG Fund is fixed at 5,000 pesos.
Okay.
5,000, and then that's the only the processing time for the processing fee for the retail, and if it's a developer's account, it's 4,000. During application, under developer's account, you pay 1,000, and the balance of 3,000 will be deducted to the loan proceeds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ms. Sol, is the 3% deducted from the loanable amount?
We do offer we will include it if your outstanding balance is lower than 90%, but our
Mm-hmm.
maximum is 90%. So we do offer capitalization of your rent fees, but our processing fee, which is 4,000 pesos, is inclusive in the 3% rent
Okay.
fee there already. But we do
Thank you.
offer, most of your vecinos are actually availing of that because most of their outstanding balance are now below 90%. So they um, don't want to pay, don't want to have cash outlay at the start. So we include it in the loan. We do
Okay, so it's stuck.
capitalization of the
It's stuck
included
in the
in
90% for as long as the
yes,
loanable amount is within that capacity.
yes,
Okay.
it's within 90%.
Mhm. Thank you. And the next question: when can a vecino start his or her first monthly amortization with a bank or pag-ibig after takeout? So the answer to this is immediately after a month from takeout, the vecino needs to start paying his or her monthly amortization with the bank or pag-ibig.
That's right.
When can a vecino occupy his unit? So once the account is fully paid, the vecino can already move in the occupancy and occupy his unit. So request for move-in should be filed days ahead before the scheduled unit turnover. This is also part of our loan takeout process that I discussed earlier. Okay, so we now have queries from our online respondents. Our first question: due to the pandemic, is there a possibility to apply via digital channels? Yes, Miss Sol and Miss Marion actually uh, walked us through on how we can actually apply online. So first option, directly to our accredited banks in their website. They have online loan application forms. Option two, email us at AboitizLand customer.service@aboitiz.com of your intent to apply for a loan. We will endorse your account to our accredited banks and help facilitate with your loan applications. We also do the same for our for Pag-ibig, for those who wanted to apply their loans through Pag-ibig. Next question. For Union Bank, how much is the required income for 2 million loanable amount? Miss Sol.
Okay, I'll have to compute for that. But our minimum, because I need to get the amortization amount. Anyway, I also need to know the term of the loan. So,
Mm-hmm.
by
Okay.
example, kanina was a 3 million loan for 20 years, and a rate of 7.5 fixed for 3, a 725 fixed for 3. The minimum income requirement was 50,000. So for a 2 million, it should be lower.
Lower, Miss Sol. Okay. Next question from our vecino. What are the requirements needed for inorganic type of employment? I mean, allowance and commission-based only income. I think what this question would means is they are not regular employees. For example, we do have our accredited sales agents and sellers who rely on their commission-based. No? So, what are the requirements, Miss Sol and Miss Marion?
For the bank,
Okay.
I would assume that they still pay taxes, so their income tax is also as a basis for us to compute their income, and bank statements.
Bank statements.
Bank
Mhm.
statements. We need to see the flow of their income through their bank statement. That's it.
How about for Pag-ibig, Miss Marion?
Okay, for Pag-ibig, as Miss Sol have mentioned, of course, we will require the ITR because inorganic type of employment, this means for Pag-ibig are those who are employed under the informal sector. Am I right? Informal
Yes.
sector. So actually, Pag-ibig accepts any document because as long as because we need to validate it. So as long as it's acceptable with Pag-ibig Fund, you can actually submit any proof of income.
Mhm. Validated proof of income. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sol. Ms. Marian, next question from our vecino. For applicants who transferred to a new company, will it then still qualify to apply for a housing loan? So kasi kanina nakita natin we need to be able to be employed at least 2 years. But if they transferred, are they still qualified to avail of a housing loan?
Uh, for the bank, it's on a case to case. We do consider less than employed for as long as we will have to consider the previous employment. He has to have been employed previously. There's a reason why there's if he transferred to a new company, so we would assume that he was previously employed. So we will consider the previous employer's employment tenure, but it has to be on a case to case. We
Okay,
will base
thank
it
you
on
for that, Sol. For Ms. Marian?
Okay, for Pag-IBIG, yes. If the member borrower will transfer to a new company, we'll just wait for the 1 month contribution under that new company. Of course, in consideration with the required number of membership, which is 2 years. But again, the 2 years can be distributed to different companies. So as long as the member has a minimum of 2 years, remittances with Pag-IBIG, and then 1 month under his or her latest employment, the member can definitely apply for housing loan.
Our next question. When will be the next open house? So stay tuned. You may view our AboitizLand website for our next open house schedule here of our sales team and our marketing team. Next question. No other questions. So for further concern, for the if you still have other questions that we were not able to answer, you may contact us at aboitisland.customer.service@aboitis.com, and our customer service representative will be happy to assist you. Okay, so we've basically answered all the questions in our FAQs and from our vecinos as well. So now I'd like to turn you over to Ms. Phoebe Sotes, the head of our customer service team, for her closing remarks. Phoebe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Carla. Thank you for the introduction. Once again, in behalf of AboitizLand, we would like to thank Ms. Sol Incorquez of Union Bank and Ms. Marion de los Reyes for sharing with us how easy it is to apply for home loans. Our dear vecinos, thank you so much for attending our session today. We hope that we were able to provide you clearer guidelines in the AboitizLand home buying process. When processing for a home loan, your purchased AboitizLand property, you need not to worry. We have our bank and Pag-IBIG liaisons who will be there during the entire loan application process to coordinate with UBP or your preferred banks and Pag-IBIG on the status of your loan. If you have any further questions, please get in touch with AboitizLand customer service through the email address on your screen. Our customer relation advisors will be happy to assist you. Lastly, for house construction progress, statement of account, and buyer's ledger, please log in to our Vecino portal through the website and the mobile application on your phones. Thank you, and again, good afternoon, everyone.